Is October 12th, 2021. This is an unedited live session. This is raw as usual, nothing fake here. And we're going to cover the top 3 visa secrets for Canadian applications, right? So you do apply for your study permit, work permit, or visitor visa, and there's a few things that you need to know. And it depends on your country and your embassy, right? So we're live here on YouTube, Facebook. We will have this video uploaded on our Instagram as well. If you don't know me, that's me. Well, okay, hold on. That's me, Reza. I'm going to change that real quick. My name is Reza. I'm licensed here in Canada to handle immigration. So we're going to talk about the top 3 visa secrets that a lot of people, it's lost in translation. You may know it, you may not know it, but the key is sharing information. And today we're going to be talking about that on YouTube right here, right? So the top 3 Canadian visa application secrets. Okay, this is what we're going to talk about today. So let's start with number 1. As I said, this is unedited. We're live. If the way it would work is you can, we're going to have our chat session live as well. So you can post your comments, questions, whatever you have, and we will answer them after we go through these top 3 Canadian visa secrets. Okay. You will see these comments here on our screen as well. We will cover them right after we go through the top 3. And that's how this session usually is done. It's basically we go through the top news, immigration news, and then you can ask any questions about yourself, your family, inside, outside of Canada, and we get to answer them for free. You have another option. You can go to a lawyer or our own office and you can pay hundreds of dollars in fees for consultation, or you can just come here and ask your questions. So let's start with number 1. The first secret that we have to say. So with a lot of embassies, okay, and I mean specifically embassies where there's high refusal regions. So I'm not talking about, let's say, embassies, let's say in Mexico or Brazil or Colombia. I'm specifically talking about embassies in Asia, Africa, and Middle East. A lot of the times the officers don't even look at your application. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a reality. They don't. If you guys think, if everybody out there thinks that, hey, they're gonna read through every single line that I submit with supporting documents, applications, letters, you're seriously wrong. For regular visas, study permits, work permits, they don't put the time in, especially high volume embassies and high refusal regions. Okay, don't worry everybody, we will answer all these questions right after. So that's number 1. They don't actually look at every single application, all the documents, all the letters, every single line. So keep that in mind when you're applying, especially from high refusal regions. They may not even look at it too much. Okay, so that's the first point you have to do. Second, they're using artificial intelligence in certain embassies. They're using artificial intelligence in certain embassies and regions to process your visas, right? And load balancing. What does that mean? A human is not, I'm not looking at every application. A computer system using optical character recognition is actually going to be looking at specific keywords on your application forms specifically and cross-checking against your previous history with Canadian or US or whatever immigration, right? So you have to keep that in mind. And all your refusals, right? If you've been refused a couple of times, the AI is just going to suggest. So it's a computer assisted human decision making model. right? So the computer is going to give you a rating and be like, this is probably not a good case. The human will take a look and be like, yeah, you're right, it's a refusal. So they will not look at it. The third, and then plus the AI, the artificial intelligence, you have to keep in mind, they're now seriously implementing load balancing. Okay? Yes. Crazy comedy, yes. All study permits, work permits, and visitor visas especially. They're implementing load balancing. What does load balancing mean? Well, if you have got an IT background, you know what load balancing is, right? You're spreading the workload across different, let's say, resources. And this means the embassies, the offices across the globe for IRCC are actually load balancing between each other. So you're submitting an application in Colombia, it could be processed in Ottawa. So sometimes we've seen an application in a certain embassy and then it ends up going and processing, I don't know, Poland or something. Who knows, right? And this is why they want everything in English and French. So if you're in South or Central America and you're putting Spanish documents, well, you need them all in English, right? Because they want a load balance. And if there's not enough resources in that embassy, they're going to push it to Ottawa. They're going to push it to a different embassy, right? Because they're trying to spread. So that means a lot of these officers, if they actually look at it, going back to number one, may not be familiar with your documents from that country and make a poor decision. That's a fact, right? That's a fact. Number three, okay, secret number three. Where's secret number three? Secret number three. I'm going to share my screen, everybody, and I'm going to explain to you what this is. Okay, I will answer all your questions. Okay, you see this? Secret number three is the Canadian government, especially the immigration department, does not want you to take your case to court for visitor visas, study permits, work permits, or whatever it is. Typically these temporary resident visas. Why? Okay, so this is a letter from one of our clients which we applied, right? And with our partners, and what's happened? Their study permit was refused, and it was trivial refusal. The person already had a Canadian visa or did at one point, and the study permit was refused. Why? Because they're coming from a high refusal region. The Canadian government does not want to take this to federal court if they know they're going to lose the case, because this information will become public and it will set a precedent. They don't want that. So if you have a strong case and you're being refused a visa, a study permit, work permit, whatever, then you can take it to the Department of Justice, apply for an appeal, a judicial review, and they will come and negotiate with you. They will not let it go to federal court. Why? Look at these points right here, right? They're basically sending a letter saying, hey, okay, we're ready to negotiate with you. One, we're ready to remove the refusal that we issued. Two, another officer is going to relook at your application again from scratch. And we're going to allow you to upload documents and update your information. Why are they doing that? Because they know they will lose in federal court if it goes to a federal judge. If they lose, it will set a precedent in court and it will become public knowledge and it will open up a flood of new appeals. So the ones they know that they will lose, because going back to number one, what we mentioned today, sometimes officers, a lot of the times, they don't look at the damn applications. They're not looking at them in a lot of the high refusal regions, right? They know that here. So when you do an appeal, they know, oh, okay, we're ready to negotiate, right? And this is the letter you'll receive. We're ready to remove the refusal, have an officer actually look at it, and a senior officer will look at it. And this time a human will actually look at it, not AI, not some stupid other system, right? Some random system. So that was secret number three, folks. You do an appeal on a temporary resident visa, like a study permit, work permit, if it's a strong case, not a losing case, if it's a strong case, okay? Oh, sorry. Okay, we're back. We're back. We're gonna, we are going to, so that was the 3 secrets, okay? If you missed, just rewind later on. We are here, folks. We are here. What can I say? Let's look at all these comments. Let's look at all these questions. That's why we're here. By the way, today's session later on in the afternoon, we're going to be revealing some of the information that's been circulated in the immigration world here about a very unusual method that the IRCC officers and embassies are using for approvals for temporary resident visas. Okay, so we're revealing some of that information, and it would be very interesting. I'm going to have my colleague Laura join as well. Okay, let's look at all these things from beginning to end. Sorry, I've been a bit slow today, right? Okay, Shauvik from YouTube is asking, hi sir, could you please tell about the federal skilled worker outline application processing? My acknowledgement of residency is December 2019. Biometrics done in January 2020. Since then, waiting for my permanent residency application process, right? So basically all federal skilled worker outline PR applications for express entry stopped being processed in 2020 and even during 2021. Okay, so that's a fact. You can only expect it to be coming back next year in early 2022, things to be returning to normal and having federal skilled worker programs being processed. Okay. So Navroz Babu is asking, hats off and praying for it. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the compliment. No question there, but just, you know, he was happy with the info we gave him, so that we appreciate that. Thank you, Navroz. Shauvik 9 on YouTube is asking, how would you please tell about federal skilled worker? Yeah, so we talked about that. Yeah. Joseph H on YouTube is asking, hello Reza, in order to give birth in Canada, should we disclose this info when we apply for a visitor visa, or we just apply for the visa, since I read that it is legal for visitors to give birth in Canada? Okay, yeah, that's an interesting question. It's going to be a little bit of an elaborate answer. Okay, it's not illegal to give birth in Canada as a visitor, right? So, and when your child will become a Canadian automatically, right? So even if you're not Canadian, obviously you know that. So it depends how many months you're pregnant, right? If you're pregnant 6-7 months, first of all, there's no place on the application form to actually disclose pregnancy. Have you ever seen it on a form? Are you expecting a newborn baby? No, there is no such field. So there's no declaration. But when you come to the border, when you arrive with your visitor visa, or let's say an electronic travel authorization, if you're from a country which is visa exempt, and they see that you or your spouse are pregnant, they may think, if they call it, what was it, tourism birth or something like that. I don't know, something like that. There's a lingo they use, birth tourism, something like that, because you want your child to become Canadian. So they may refuse you at the border when you land, even with a visa or visa exempt, because they think, hey, all you did is you come here to give birth and then go back, so your child is a Canadian, right? But if you're just a couple months, it's fine. If you're like, you know, big belly, ready to give birth any second, be careful, there's a risk involved, okay? You have to justify why you're coming. And then the second point to consider, it's very expensive. You're talking about over $10,000 of medical fees, because typically unless you've got great insurance coverage from your own country that covered in Canada, you're going to be paying out of pocket, right? So it is not illegal. You just have to be careful how many months, how big the belly is when you're coming in through the border. CBSA, Canadian Border Security Agency, might question that. Okay, each case is different. I've had a lot of colleagues do that as well. Mujahid Yusuf is asking a question on YouTube. Is it possible to obtain a study permit if I have been accepted into a private college in New Brunswick? Of course, as long as they have a designated learning institution number, DLI, it's possible to apply for a study permit no matter what. where, when, private college, New Brunswick, anywhere, right? Note that my application was rejected twice and I had admission from the University of Saskatchewan. It doesn't matter, Mujahid, it has no significance in terms of New Brunswick or Saskatchewan. The federal government, the federal level, processes study permits, visas, work permits. It's based on your profile. It's based on your travel history, your ties to your home country, your study gap, your study plan. If you have a master's degree, why are you going for diploma? For example, if you're 50 years old, could have its own challenge. If you're 39, its own challenges. I don't think you're 21 anymore, or at least I'm not, right? So they're looking at your profile. So even if you apply for the best university in Toronto or Vancouver in Canada, you may be refused. Okay, so that's a misconception a lot of people have. So Navroz is saying better to rely on AI than humans. Not really. The problem is with IRCC, they're not even reading. The humans are not even reading some of the applications in certain regions. So if they did read them, I think that we'd have a better chance. Crazy Comedy was asking, I think I answered that. Canada, IRCC, tourist visas. Yes, study permits, work permits, tourist visas. They're using AI, they're using load balancing, and they're not even looking at some applications. Join us today at 5 p.m. North America Eastern Time. We're going to reveal some of the information that's been circulating in the immigration world here about how they're actually bulk or mass refusing applications without looking at them. So we're going to cover that later today. Hello, hi Reza, Jackie. Yeah, hi, Crazy Comedy. I am Indian. I want to come to visit Canada. Opened tourist visa, but not giving visa. What do you have to say about it? So basically, you're Indian. You applied for a visa, you got refused. That's what I'm assuming. It's normal. It's you're not guaranteed an approval. They look at each case separately. Who gave you invitation letter from Canada? What is your purpose? Do you have travel history? What assets or financial resources do you have in your home country? What is your employability? Do you have employment? Do you have a business in India? What are the reasons why you should be going back to India after your visit? Is there something keeping you to return to India, or do you have nothing? Or, like basically you can leave and go to Canada and you have no other travel history. So there's a lot of factors to put. Are you applying for the whole family? How young are you? How old are you? There's all these factors. Discrimination at its best, everybody. Shalvik 9 is asking, hi sir, could you please tell us about the federal skilled workers? Yeah, so I mentioned, I answered that question earlier. Thank you for repeating. So we have another question here. I'm a little bit slow, folks. So hello, Sam, a returning worker to Canada, currently stuck in India. My timeline for a temporary resident visa is applied, filed on December 29, 2020. File transfer to New Delhi on March 1st. Biometric study in July, updated same day and upfront medical. And hold on, I'll show. It's a long question. Biometrics done same day, upfront medical August 24th and updated September 4th. Since then, I have emailed them 2 weeks ago, and last week I raised a web form, but still haven't got any reason. My application has exceeded normal processing times. My question is, should I reapply under new portal open on September 7th, or should I wait? So there's really no new portal. Okay, that's what I read. It's the same process. Okay, everybody, it's the same process. You applied in 2020 December. It'll be a bit of a tricky case. I would say you can withdraw and reapply if you have all your vaccination papers. You will end up paying again, but yeah, because you've been waiting for so long. And July you updated an upgrade medical on August 3rd, update September 4th. So I assume we're talking about, yeah. Maybe give it a 1 or 2 months. If you don't get it by December, then yeah, withdraw and reapply. That's what I would do. Next question, Mark Lawrence Simon said, hello sir, how about here in IRCC Abu Dhabi? Why it's too much long under process? Yeah, unfortunately Abu Dhabi is one of the longest delayed embassies right now. Nobody knows why, but I think it's the number of people working there, number of applications. It just hasn't picked up like other embassies. There's really not much you can do. Unfortunately, it's one of the worst embassies to deal with. Two of the top worst embassies to deal with: Warsaw, Poland, and Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Rest, yeah. So I got my study permit refused. So we've got a question here. So Bedrose is saying, I got my study permit refused back in August and I'm reapplying soon. When do I expect to get an answer? I heard I get it faster now, in a month or so, since my background check is already done. Well, you're not going to do a biometric, so that'll save you time. But I would say if you apply right now, by December, depending on your intake for your school. If you are studying for May next year, it could take long. But if you've got a January intake and you're reapplying, they could process it by December, January, right? And it depends on your embassy as well, right? Where are you applying? Villager Jad saying, hi, sir, good day. How are you? Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Trying to catch up with these comments, everybody. It's a little bit faster than what I can do. Okay. So Raj, okay, I'm ready to enroll in the fall semester. Fall next year or fall this year, Bedrose? Can you just clarify? Ranjot Singh is asking, should I hire a lawyer from inside CAT to expedite my TRV file in December 20? No, nobody. You can hire us, but nobody can help expedite the process. It doesn't matter if you hire the best lawyers, the best officers. If you hire me even, we cannot do anything. And if anybody tells you otherwise, they just want your money. Remember that, everybody. There's a lot of people out there looking to just make free money. So be careful. It's not going to help you. What you will say from my application passed by April 1st, 2020 until now, I am waiting. Should I wait, sir? Mark Lawrence Simon. What kind of application was it? If you can refresh my mind. Said Ahmed is asking, any update on SAH refugee waiting to be resettled in host country? It's slow. Afghanistan issue is pushing everything back. I've had cases that are years in the process. So unfortunately, that's bad news. Naheen is saying, I'm from Oman. I got 100 marks for art and IT grade. In grade IT, in grade 12 for interactive media design diploma. Unfortunately, I got overall 6 in IELTS, but unfortunately in one module 5.5. Would it affect my profile? No. Other key factors affected depending on the admission to the program you're going to. Okay, so if the letter of acceptance saying minimum IELTS 6 in each band, then that's a problem. But if 5.5 or average overall 5.5 or 6 is accepted and you match that, that's fine. They will look at other factors in your profile: financials, age, educational gap, study plan, career path. Other questions. Let's say Bedros. No. Lynette Kruger is asking, hi Lynette. Hi, my boyfriend of 3 years is in Canada to get asylum. I will apply as a skilled worker. Would we be able to marry in Canada, and will that destroy his asylum application? No. Just make sure, like, I assume he has no family or he's not married. Before you get married, just make sure. You're a temporary resident too, right, Lynette? So I will apply for skilled worker to become PR. Would we be able to marry in Canada? So he's this hasn't got us and to get asylum. Okay, so if he's already applied for asylum status, you get married, and then you become a permanent resident, then he will be in your case, but he has to withdraw his asylum, right? So you have to be careful how you're timing it, how you're applying, right? You don't want things to sort of, blow up in your face. So you cannot have 2 applications at the same time. If you're getting a PR or you're being invited for a PR, yes, you can marry, but he has to withdraw his application, okay, for asylum, because he's going to be applying with you for PR, I assume. If there's other details, let me know. Jagdish Singh is saying, I got a job offer from a Canadian employer, and the employer has filed an LMIA, Global Talent Stream, for me for 45 days, but it didn't go through yet. Please suggest how much time it'll take. No. If they did global talent stream, it's 2 weeks. So either they're giving you A, incorrect information, or B, they applied incorrectly, or they don't know what they're doing, or they're not giving proper info. We're doing LMIs and global talent streams all the time. It's 2 weeks processing. For global talent stream, LMIs can take anywhere from 1.5 to 2 months, and that's after 1 month of applying for recruitment. Shauvik 9 is asking a question. Is it okay if you do a master's while, oh, sorry, wrong one. Is that the right? Is it okay if you do a master's while the application is being processed and master's is not informed to IRCC since the points are only claimed for bachelor's and work experience? So you're talking about temporary resident visas since the bar only claim for, yeah, that's fine. I mean, the key is if you're applying for a temporary resident visa, you can say that you are in the process of studying, you are a student. Okay, so it depends on your applicants. I haven't seen your application, but it's not a huge case, it's not a huge deal right now. But in the future, if let's say you graduate, you do have to declare it. Typically we do declare it, okay, while you're studying, saying current student and master's. If that affects your application, then you can reconsider it. Other questions? Okay, there's a lot of questions going on. It's a lot, very fast. I should hire one of you to come here and join me and just ask these questions or answer them. Okay, so Bedros says this year fall, I even got proof of enrollment letter as supporting document for my application. Yeah, so it's online. Okay, so you have to wait for your study permit to be approved. Okay, so even if you're studying and if your study permit is not approved, then your studying is kind of gone out the window in vain. Okay, so you have to be careful. They probably will process it if you reapply, but maybe 2 months, 3 months, right? Maybe more, maybe less. But while you're studying, you're just spending money, and if it's refused again, it doesn't matter. If you get a study permit refused and you're still studying online with the Canadian institution, having an enrollment letter is not going to help you. Okay, I'm sorry to say that. Villager Jad is saying, sir, will Canada give results on tourist visa? Let's read this one. Will Canada, hold on, sometimes it doesn't show on the screen. Will Canada give results in tourist visa or will ask reapply in future? Because mostly people applications outdated. No, they're not going to ask to reapply because nobody's going to pay $100 again, right? That's something that you have to consider, because most people, your opinion will be worthy. No, they're going to just update them. They'll be like, oh, give us updated documents. Or they're going to process and refuse outright without even looking at it. Or they're going to be, oh, you're going to we need updated, I don't know, medical, financials, or enrollment letter, depending, or whatever it is that you're applying under. So no, they're not going to say, oh, we just stopped, I'm going to throw those out and everybody reapplies. No. Mark Lawrence, LMI and temporary foreign worker, it's almost 16 months. What should I do? I would say if you have an employer, Mark Lawrence, in Canada who's done the LMI, ask them to go to their local member of parliament, federal member of parliament, okay, to request IRCC. They have a direct line with IRCC. They should go there, ask IRCC, their member of parliament in their region, to ask IRCC what's going on with this case. Within a month or month and a half, they will definitely give you an update. Okay, and usually what I see happening is they wake up and they start processing when a member of parliament is following up. That's what I would do first, if your employer is willing to cooperate. If they're not, then that's a different story. Akram Ruziev, on what do you think? Here we go. What do you think why IRCC is not hiring extra staff to clear existing federal skilled worker backlogs in the Afghanistan crisis? Well, they are hiring. So if you looked on LinkedIn and you follow IRCC on LinkedIn, they're regularly hiring. It's just too many applications. Hiring process is slow, and they have to train people, right? Because permanent residency applications require some training. So they are hiring nonstop. Okay, it's just the backlog is too big. Jimmy Phillip is asking a question on YouTube. Do you think if most of the federal skilled worker applications will get approved in the next 2 months, is there a priority for PNP Outland? Well, I don't think most federal skilled worker applications will get approved in the next 2 months. No way, Jose. I will put money on that. Is there priority for PNP Outland? No, there's no priority. Villager Jad is saying, sir, as discussed earlier, I applied for Canada tourist visa. If I go back vacation to Pakistan and the PR comes, can I send my only passport by courier for stamping in Saudi? That's like a brain twister right there. Tourist visa. If I go back for vacation to Pakistan and PR comes, can I send my only passport courier? It is possible. It is possible. Yes, it's possible. Shavik 9, is it okay if we don't inform IRCC about completion of master's degree while working for, yeah, I already replied that. I applied, oh, my brother is waiting for, yeah, for federal skilled worker, Shavik is fine. You're studying, you haven't graduated, except when they ask, when you're applying for your PR after you're invited, or when you're applying for a PR, or if they want updated document, you mention you're studying, right? Ahmed Morsi on Facebook is asking, I applied for work permit with LMI from Egypt, and I gave my biometrics in Dubai, which was working since December 2020. And I emailed IRCC in Egypt. They just informed me now the application process by mission team in UAE. Yeah, basically, UAE is processing it. You have to email the embassy there directly. And like I mentioned to the previous one, you will have to have maybe your employer in Canada go to their member of parliament, do a direct line, follow up, and you'll see some results. The UAE embassy is really slow, which is in Abu Dhabi. We discussed that earlier in the session. Any update for SAH refugees? We discussed that. Shavik 9, yeah, I saw that. Giri Diat Mika is asking a question on YouTube. Hi, Giri. I do have an LMIA till February 2022. Unfortunately, my work permit refused under IRPR regulation 200. Please tell me how many percent will I get my work permit if I reapply with the application? They could refuse you again. There's no guarantee. It depends on the quality of the application. Okay, your job offer, do you have the credentials, ties to home country, and you have to apply for the officer notes to get the detailed review reasons. So somebody in Canada has to do it for you, maybe your employer, your lawyer, your a friend, family, anybody. You request the global case management system notes from the visa officer that will give you like a paragraph or a couple lines on the real reason of refusal in most cases. Then you reapply. There's no guarantee they will just by reapplying, they'll approve you. That's not going to happen. Yeah, Lynette Kruger, my boyfriend is adamant he wants to do his own thing. He does not want papers because of someone else. That's why I'm wondering if marriage will spoil it. I must still start with my application. Well, that's a tough one, Lynette. He wants to go through the refugee. Like, you have to also gauge what are his chances of success as a refugee, right? Plus, when you apply with him and they on the application, he has to state that he's previously applied for asylum and he's withdrawn it, and that might affect your marriage or the fact that you're applying together as a PR. So if you have a history together, wedding, family, years together, and you mentioned 3 years, then it should be fine, and he has to withdraw. But if it's just like, if you don't have documentation to prove that there is a history behind this marriage, they will suspect other reasons why this marriage happened, right? If he wants to go with his asylum application, that's fine. You do your own thing. When you become a PR, you can get married, right? And even if he's refused, you can get married, but it will make your spousal sponsorship application even more difficult to prove, because it'll show, hey, he tried once in a different way. Now he married you to come to Canada. There's certain things. It's definitely possible, Lynette, right? You just have to keep an eye out. Be careful, tread careful. So I want you to reverse engineer everything. So think forward and think backwards. So in a couple of years when you're PR or you're planning to apply for the PR now, if he's not part of your application and for whatever reason he's refused, how will that affect if you sponsor him as a Canadian at that point? And if he withdraws now, maybe it's better, but it depends how likely he is to get approved. What's his country? Like, because there's certain refusal approval rates with certain nationalities and their cases. Is it a very strong case or is it not? You could go your own ways and still be together, common law or marriage. Remember, in Canada, common law, if you're living together, you've got a lease together, you've got joint bank accounts, life insurance is accepted. So you don't necessarily have to be married. Each case is different. Again, I don't want to go into too much detail here. Yusuf Jamal 12, sir, I have an Austrian travel document. Can I apply? Visitor visa and how long? Well, if you have an Austrian passport, yes. If you don't have, like, any nationality can apply for a visitor visa. And, it may take, depending on the embassy. So it could take a couple days, a weeks, right? Right now with vaccination papers, right? It really depends on your embassy. Kiki Nurani on YouTube is asking, hello, sir. I'm looking at applying for an MBA in University of Manitoba. How fast is the PR route after graduation? You need a job. Okay, so you need to come in through the Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program. You should be in the in-demand occupations listed on the Manitoba PNP website. And then, there's a points-based system. Okay, and then based on those points, like working for an employer or gaining work experience, you can be nominated for PR. If you do an MBA, I suggest you do it in Toronto because there is no process after. It's very fast. You apply through the nomination. They have a special stream for master's MBAs. Okay, that's in Ontario, not Toronto. That's what I suggest. You don't need to work after or do anything after. Should I raise a crisis web form for my TRV? This is Ranjot Bajwa, so that they can take a look at my application. I will attach my COVID vaccination certificate and ask them that my application has exceeded normal. You can, there's no crisis web form. It's just all the same web form. It may lead to something, may not. Email them directly. Might be a better. Right now, web forms are not being responded that much. This is what the experience we are having. Bed Rose, hi, sorry, I didn't get your answer. I said I'm enrolled in fall 2021 semester, so when should I expect to get an answer? It could take months because the deadline to apply, Bed Rose, was in May for 2021. And if you're refused and you reapplied, there's no timeline for them to process it again. And it could be that you get refused again. So time is not really your concern at this point. It's getting approved. So please don't focus on, hey, I want to get a decision, because what if they refuse you again? So all your studies online will go down the drain. Shavik 9 is saying, is it okay if we don't inform IRCC? Yeah, we already applied. Sir, Ronaldo McLeod, is that how you pronounce it? Sir, was the spousal open work permit processing on hold? Overseas, yes. Overseas applicants for spousal open work permit, yes. We don't apply for our clients from overseas. We say to come in and apply from inside with a visa, visitor visa or ETA. Maria Alicia Cruz, what is the required, here we go, here's the question. What is required to apply for masters from Philippines? Same process. So you either apply for study permit under the regular stream, letter of acceptance, documentation to prove that you meet the conditions, you've got financial resources to pay, ties to your home country, or you do a student direct stream. Student direct stream means you've got IELTS 6 in each band, you paid 1 year advance tuition, you purchased a $10,000 GIC, and by the way, we have partners in the Canadian banks that help process your GIC faster. It's a guaranteed government investment certificate that you will get back when you're here as your expense. Plus a letter of acceptance. So the student direct stream will process it much faster. So I suggest if you're applying from the Philippines, because you're eligible to apply under that program. Nekpen Obi Ifionu says hi back. Lynette is saying, is it easier to find work while outside of Canada or best to get into Canada and then look for work? Oh yeah. If must look for work in Canada, what is the best visa to apply for get work Canada to search for? Okay, so depending on what your occupation is, it's very difficult to find a job from overseas while you're outside Canada. It's not impossible. There's so many people coming here based on job offers, but you need an employer. You need to be in an occupation which is in demand, and it's still not easy. If you want to come in Canada and work, look for a job, you come through a visitor visa, or maybe as a student. So it depends on each case. So you have to watch out there. There's no one solution for everybody. Nahid Mohammed is saying, I'm living here in as a temporary resident since 2019 years. Oh, okay, I'm here. Okay, I'm living here in as a temporary resident since 19 years of age in Oman, but was born in Oman. If I apply for study for here, is it a drawback? It could, but as long as you're strong, you show very strong documentation from Oman and maybe your country of origin, then it could work. But yes, it could be a drawback. It depends on how strong your case is. Nekpen Obi Ifiona is asking, how long does it take an LMIA to be out? Or I guess process. It can take anywhere from 2 to 3 months. My employer said ought to have gotten it since May, but there's been a delay. Yes, there has been a delay during the summer for LMIAs. I've seen that as well. He said he has hired a lawyer to handle this. What is your take on this? Well, okay, so when you apply, a lawyer cannot make it process faster. But if you applied incorrectly, yeah, as somebody professional like ourselves or a lawyer or anybody who's licensed can help. But processing faster by Service Canada, yeah, definitely not. Villager Jad asking, sir, it's eighth month since I applied for Canada tourist visa. Want to go back on vacation to my country. Only the thing I'm waiting for outcome from IRCC. Precious opinion, please. Yeah, we have a similar case, Villager Jad, where they've been waiting inside Canada 7 months for visitor visa. We called as well IRCC. They're just saying it's under process. They're too busy. Nothing we can do. Nothing anybody can do. Youssef Jamal. So right now, some visitor visa applications overseas are being processed faster than inside Canada. It's ridiculous. Youssef Jamal 12 saying, sir, I have 3 years experience in Austria and I have a travel document. Can I apply visitor visa Canada? Yes or no? Sure, you need a passport. So I'm not sure what you're doing there in Austria. You can apply. I don't think it's going to be a very good case because you're not from Austria. When you apply from a different country, they will scrutinize your ties to your own home country as well. When you say travel document, I assume you don't have a passport. That could be an issue, and I doubt they'll approve you. You can apply, of course. Amir Qureshi is that saying, my wife is applying for a student visa. Can I and our kids can go alone with her? And if the kids can get free education, can I work? Well, yes. If she is approved and she starts her academic program here, yes, children can study for free in public schooling up to end of high school. The spouses or partners can be eligible for an open spousal work permit. It doesn't mean that everybody will get it or that you will apply from outside and get it. I'm living in Kuwait, Bedros A right now, so I have to apply to the Abu Dhabi embassy, correct? Does the visitor visa take 2 days? No, not Abu Dhabi. Lynette Kruger, my boyfriend is Pakistani. We are not married, live separately. Okay, so no common law. Have WhatsApp messages and photos to prove we've been together since 2018. Okay, if you do get married, make sure both sides of the family are there, or at least the people who can be, and you do have a little mini event, and you have an event before, after, dinner, things like that. These are very important factors, especially family from both sides attending, right? So you have to be careful there. Navroz Babu, sir, dear Reza, sir, if I have a Canadian girl is willing to marry a person, okay, if a Canadian girl is willing to marry a person from other country, is it possible for him to get the tourist visa to enter Canada? Possible, yes. Whether that invitation letter will help them to get the visa, not really. If the case is not good, they'll be refused no matter if they have somebody willing to marry them, right? So unless it's a conjugal relationship, yeah, that's not going to happen. Splash Splat SWAT is saying, if a postgraduate university offer online short course part-time, if A levels pass student do these, he or okay, let's say postgraduate university part-time online course, A level student, would she still be able to apply for undergraduate university scholarship? Most scholarships require direct student. Yeah, it does. I can't really understand the question. The scholarships are different. We're not talking about visas. Scholarships are a different issue altogether. It has nothing to do with immigration. Prof 418, what time is this program in Nigerian time? Nigerian time, local time in Nigeria. Let's see, folks. Right now it's 2:57. So you guys are, let's say we're 10:03, 5 hours ahead. So it would mean 9 a.m. Tuesdays, which is 2 p.m. Nigeria time, or 5 p.m. here, which is 10 p.m. Nigeria time. So Amir Qureshi is asking, my WES result, which is the WES education credential assessment, is only 2 years and equivalent to Canadian education. Can I still apply for master's in Canada? Yes, the school decides whether they will admit you. So the the master's program admission requirements or the prerequisites are important, not the visa process. So the school will say, okay, you do meet the requirements for this MBA or not. So it's up to the school. And each school is different. Each master's is the Bedrose says, so what do you advise me to do? My second semester winter is on campus, so I have to be in Canada by January. So what should I do? Reapply, that's for sure. You've been studying, so reapply. If you get refused, then it's you got to be careful, because if you don't know why they refused it the first time and you're reapplying, it could be an issue. I would say consider investing in something, like maybe outsourcing your legal advice, because if you just get refused the second time and you reapply kind of without knowing what you're doing, then it's not a good case. Hamza Khan, hello, I applied for a study permit a couple months ago under SDS and I still haven't received a. Is there anything I can do at this time? Wait. Email the embassy. Web form is useless right now, but email the embassy directly, see what's happening. And I assume you gave your biometrics. Nasrin Ibrahim is saying, hi, I recently upload. Okay, don't know what that means. Hello, Nasrin. Meet Tech. Sir, how much time will I take for business visa? I'm from India. A visa is a visa. There's no visitor visa. It's a business visa. It can take, if you've got your vaccinations, everything good, you can get it in a week, or you can take a month. So it depends on your case. Can I apply for a scholarship alongside the study visa? Yes, it's possible. Scholarships are scholarships, different issue than immigration. Sir, do you provide services for investment business visa? What are the minimum requirements? I'm working as a project manager since 2015, Saudi Arabia. Yes, Villager Jat. We do handle business immigration, investment immigration, whether you want to set up an business here, set up a branch, come through startup visa. We do a lot of those cases. You can reach out through our website. Hold on, where is our website? Here we go. Our email website down here, maybe down here. Yeah, sorry, I'm not good at this stuff. Meet Tech is saying, watch your 5th October video and really like it. The way you address our question is amazing. Now, so I just wanted to ask you, can I simultaneously process my visitor, business, and work visa both? So so when you apply for a work permit and you are not exempt from a visa, they will issue you, on approval of a work permit, a visa to enter Canada. If you're applying separately, you could, but it's not going to help you, right? So if you apply for a business visa, it's like a visitor visa. There's no it's not called a business visa. It's a visitor visa. The purpose could be for business. However, if you apply for a work permit and you get it approved, you will get a visa alongside that to enter Canada, to pick up your work permit at the border. I'm trying to catch up on these questions, folks. There's just too many. Not that I'm saying you shouldn't ask questions. Prof 418 is asking a question. Since Nigeria has a high refusal of visa, what do you advise on who should put together get our study visa? It's tough. Judicial review. If you have a very strong case, I suggest that you work with somebody who knows about appeals, judicial reviews. For example, our office can, but as long as somebody who's professional licensed. I'm not trying to promote our services here, but if you're applying, make sure you have somebody ready to appeal immediately. That's the only way we're dealing with high refusal regions, and that's one of our specialties. Villager, Jad said, will it affect, because I already applied for a tourist visa, I mean investment or business visa application. It can and it cannot, but because the whole, if you're going for an investment or business visa, we're talking about business investment programs, which are like work permit PR related. So the visa itself is separate. So two different things. A visitor visa, no matter if it's business or anything else, is something else, okay? Investment program, which leads to a PR or work permit or business immigration, is separate, okay? Pratyush is asking, hello, sir, I got my electronic confirmation of PR on the CEC Inland Canadian Experience Class Express entry on October 5th. How much time can I expect my PR card? So when you got your confirmation PR, they then sent you a request for pictures and updated information. After you send that, approximately 2 months. Okay, approximately 2 months. Then you will get a PR card. You cannot travel with a COPR. You need the PR card. Hi, I'm an SAH refugee. My file is submitted in 2019. Unfortunately, refugee cases overseas are taking seriously long times right now. Not much you can do. Joseph H, back to giving birth in Canada. Yes, back to giving birth. If we add an explanation that will it prevent visa refusal, or the officer will most probably refuse the visa. Do not mention it on your application. End of story. At the border, they will assess it. Your visa application, there's no fields to actually put in I'm pregnant or my spouse is pregnant. So don't put anything there. So it won't affect the visa. If they refuse you, they refuse you for other reasons. After how many months in Canada, will my hubby be able to bring us in once he gets there? He can apply for visitor visa, right, for you to come in. When he's here, if he's working, I need pay stubs, or the government needs to show pay slips. If he's studying, an enrollment letter showing that he's studying. Hello, Mr. IBK. Hello, I'm from Nigeria myself, and my wife applied for a visitor visa from Nigeria since July 2020 until now. Nothing. Please, what do we do? Email the embassy directly. If you've got your vaccinations, you could consider reapplying now, but email them first. Splash SWAT is saying, are Pakistani students based in Gulf eligible for direct student stream? No. It's you have to be a resident of the country where you're applying, which is Pakistan for student direct stream, or other eligible countries for student direct stream. We have a lot of cases. I lived in Dubai myself a lot, so I know exactly how the GCC works. Can I call you after this program? If you don't mind, I need an expert who can help package your document. Just send us a message, Prof 418, because I usually after this I'm in consultations and handling client files. Send us a message. We can send you some information and we can discuss from there. Mary Kay, sir, visa applied July 26 for study STS, student direct stream medical, done biometrics done 2 months ago, over waiting for visa, sir, please. I assume you're applying from Philippines, Mary. Please send an email to the embassy directly. Student direct streams should not take that long, but sometimes they do. Make sure application is complete, but do email the embassy directly. Embassies do have direct email addresses. Lynn, I'm new to this. How long does a visitor visa last for? I would need to use the time to look for work. It's the validity of your passport. So about a month before your validity of your passport, your visa will expire. So if you've got a 10-year passport, you'll get it for 9 years and 10, 11 months. If you've got a 5-year passport or a 1 year, it'll last that long. However, when you're inside of Canada, you're only allowed to stay either 6 months or the time that the officer has mentioned on your passport, you could be eligible to renew and request a visitor record while you're inside of Canada. Maria Alethea Cruz, did you have a case where the WS equivalent is only 2 years, but was admitted for masters? Where and which university? There's a lot of different programs out there that require post-secondary education, not a bachelor's, and some, of course, that need a bachelor's. It depends on your budget, Maria. So a 2-year for a public university, I would say difficult. For a private university, there might be one that can do a bridging program to continue for a master's. Okay, if you want, we can check it in detail based on your profile. Send us a message. But again, for public universities, would be difficult for a master's. Rachel Ayanga, when can I get a tourist visa in my country? When I apply for a work permit in my country? When can I get? Yeah, you apply, and based on your processing on your country, it could take a week or months for work permit. And then a work permit, you need a job offer from Canada. So you cannot just apply for work permit unless you are the partner spouse of an international student or worker who's already inside of Canada. So be careful there. If you have any questions, everybody, my throat is gone. This has been a very long session, about an hour. We will be back today, 5 p.m. local time. Thank you for joining us. A lot of questions. I hope I've been able to help you guys out. And again, remember, everybody, we're here every Tuesday, 9 a.m., 5 p.m. North America Eastern Time. Okay, thank you. Voice is gone. Watch us on YouTube. We're also on Facebook. This will be uploaded on Instagram, but YouTube is our main thing that we're pushing these days. Last question, Lukita is saying, is GMAT compulsory for government universities? Nope. It depends on your grades, your GPA. Or are there any exceptions? Yes, there are exceptions. Okay. And GMAT is not required for every single application or school. So it depends on the school, the program, and your credentials. Thank you, Russia Prof 48. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back today with my colleague who will speak Spanish. It'll be a bilingual session. And what's the subject of this afternoon? I think it's called, secrets revealed. So we're going to dive into a weird document being circulated of how the officers are actually mass refusing applications. So it's like a little document that we're sharing. Thanks, everybody. Emanuela, everybody. Appreciate it. Take care, everyone. Facebook, YouTube. Take care. Bye-bye now.